Hi, everybody. This is Jackie Bryan, registered nurse, whole health educator, and functional nutritionist. Welcome. I'm so excited to be here with you today. I have a very special guest, my friend Allie Drury from California. She's with Allie Wellness. She's a dear friend and an incredible colleague to work with. Hi, Allie.
Hi, how are you?
Good. I'm
Good.
so excited to connect with you today. We are here to talk to you guys about something really important, especially during this pandemic. As you know, I've been doing a series of videos that is really focusing on putting that oxygen mask on yourself first before you put it on somebody else so that you can bring a better you to the table to support and take care of other people. Today, we're talking about food and lifestyle behaviors that can support your immune system. This is really important. And this actually will build a foundation on some of the other videos that I've been doing. So there are several nutrients, vitamins, and minerals that are really important when it comes to supporting the immune system. Vitamins A, C, D, and E, and minerals like zinc, selenium, and magnesium. And you probably all heard of those at one time or another. But what we're going to talk about today are specific food groups that fall into those categories. I want you to think about your immune system kind of like a building blocks or foundation. If you're missing one of these very important nutrients or minerals, your immune system's going to suffer. And that's something that we need to think about. Allie, I know you want to chime in on that a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Any kind of nutrient deficiencies that we have really prevent our immune system from being able to work properly. So we got to help our bodies out here. We got to do something good to help our immune system get strengthened and to be able to jump in whenever we do get sick.
Yeah. And that's why we're here today, Allie. We're so excited to share with people some easy strategies that they can implement in their life to help them move forward with a healthier and stronger immune system. So I'm going to share with you just a quick and easy list of some of the foods that fall into those really important nutrient and mineral categories. The first one I'm going to talk about is vitamin A or beta carotenes. And you're probably thinking about your carrots, or even sweet potatoes, but you can also get vitamin A and beta carotene in dark leafy greens, squash, cantaloupe, and mangoes. Those are some of the top ones that you can get those. And I'm sure you can think about different food groups that you can, or these foods and how you could bring them into your life daily. The second group is vitamin C, and you've probably been hearing a little bit more about that, especially with the virus floating around. And we think about vitamin C with our citrus fruits, our bell peppers, even broccoli, tomatoes, sweet potatoes, and asparagus. But I want to put a spotlight on berries. Berries are a nutritional powerhouse when it comes to antioxidants. They have polyphenols in them, and what they do is they go in and they actually neutralize free radicals. And free radicals are not a thing from like the 60s. Free radicals are the things that can cause extensive damage. They're a byproduct of our body's processes. So antioxidants are things that come in and neutralize those free radicals and render them harmless or even just make them whole again so that they're not causing as many problems. So berries are a nutritional powerhouse when it comes to that. So that's your blackberries, blueberries, strawberries. Vitamin D, the sunshine vitamin. If you get out in the sun for 20 minutes and expose some of your larger body parts to the sun, you're going to be able to absorb it and make some vitamin D that is essential part of your immune system. If you're not able to get out in the sun that often, supplementation may be an option for you, but I would suggest getting your levels checked prior to doing that. There are foods that have vitamin D in them. Things like salmon, just 3.5 ounces of a wild-caught salmon can give you a large amount of your vitamin D for the day. Some fortified foods, and even mushrooms. Mushrooms get their vitamin D from the sunlight, and so you can get more information about that in terms of getting vitamin D in with your nutrition. I did do an extensive video last week on vitamin D if you're interested in learning more about it. But Allie, I think you wanted to chime in on the mushroom piece.
Yes, those mushrooms you mentioned are what's called immune modulators. And that means that they come in and kind of give the immune system a little bit of education about what it should or shouldn't be doing. So it turns them on and turns them off. And you can look for that in other types of mushrooms as well, things like cremini or oyster or even button mushrooms.
Oh, great. Those are great tips. I'm not a mushroom expert, so it's good that you're here to give the give those tips. So selenium is a very important mineral when it comes to our immune system. Remember those building blocks that we were talking about. Selenium can be found in salmon and haddock, but what's really interesting is just 2 Brazil nuts a day can give you all your selenium requirements for the day, which is pretty impressive. So I make sure that I get 2 Brazil nuts every day. Zinc is something that we've been hearing a lot about. Zinc has been shown to reduce the length of viral infections. Your body actually needs zinc to create the white blood cells to fight infection. Now, overdoses with zinc supplementation can be problematic. So we're not suggesting that you take a lot of zinc supplements, but it's nice to know that you can get this really helpful mineral in your diet, and you can get it in spinach and beef, shrimp, kidney beans, flax seeds, pumpkin seeds. And pumpkin seeds are our nutritional gem. They actually have vitamin C and B and vitamin E. And these are all things that you can get in your diet that can support your immune system. Allie, I know that you had some thoughts on zinc as well.
Yeah, zinc is definitely important. When we think about our immune system functioning, we have all of these different chemical processes that are happening, and we use these vitamins and these minerals in different places in our body. One thing I like to highlight when we think about immunity is an antioxidant called glutathione, and it's produced after exercise, and it helps our barriers become stronger. So when we think about barriers, we're thinking about things like our gut lining or our lung barrier or even our skin. So we need precursors from our diet in order for glutathione to be produced properly. And those are things like sulfurous vegetables. So that would be things like kale and onion and garlic and cauliflower and cabbage. We also need that vitamin C you mentioned above. We need vitamin C as a precursor for glutathione. So getting those fruits and veggies that are rich in vitamin C are really important here. And then finally, selenium, which you talked about above. And the Brazil nuts are a great suggestion. I love the idea of eating 1 to 2 of those a day. And then the fatty fish is also great. You can get selenium from things like dairy and whole grains and even animal proteins. So that's a really important antioxidant for our lungs, to strengthen our lungs.
Okay,
and
awesome.
then when we think about the nervous system, especially during times of chronic stress like we're going through right now, it's really important to get the fatty, good fats in our diet. And that is things like fatty fish and nuts and seeds and even things like avocado and coconut oil. This really helps keep our blood sugar at bay, and it helps reduce the response that happens when we're feeling anxious or stressed, that cortisol response. And these fatty foods also help keep the body in an anti-inflammatory state. You want your body to be able to mount that immune response when it needs to. And the immune response is actually a form of inflammation.
Yeah, and aren't we, when we're under stress, which I don't know of anybody right now that's not under a lot of stress, but when we're under stress, isn't this the time that we really need more nutrition to be able to support our body processes?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, when we think about that, we think about how, our bodies function as one big giant unit, right? Nothing is separated. These are all interconnected systems. But when we look at things from a cellular level, like for instance, thinking about what produces energy in our body, that is this little tiny power plant called the mitochondria. And we can't function if we don't produce this energy, and our immune system can't function if our immune cells aren't producing this energy. They need that energy too. So we need these vitamins and minerals from our food in order to produce the energy in mitochondria. And for that, we're looking at things like proteins from amino acids, healthy fats, like we just talked about above, to reduce inflammation, and omega-3s, which are very important to build up our protective membranes. And then finally, CoQ10, which is something that you might have heard about. in the news is really, really important for this mitochondrial health. And you can get that from things like organ meats and eggs, oily fish, and things like olive oil. And finally, bone broth. Sipping on bone broth can really help repair your gut lining and help your gut absorb these nutrients and amino acids that we need from our food.
Yeah. Oh, those are great tips. And I love that you talked about the mucosal membranes in our body. I mean, we have a lot of different areas that are mucosal lining in our gut, in our lungs, just all over. And we need to keep those moist. And one of the recommendations that I talk to people about is making sure that we're getting enough water and hydration. That's super important. Another recommendation that I would kind of leave people with is really try to crowd out the crap. Sorry. But when you think about the processed sugar, refined foods, at this time, in general, your body just doesn't like this type of food, but it's critical during this time when we're dealing with such a deadly virus that we do everything we can in our power to keep our immune system chugging along and keep it focused on its main job, which is taking care of you. I mean, that's the main focus. Every time you're eating a cookie or ice cream or something, you're actually distracting your immune system from doing what it really needs to do. We need to be eating the whole, clean foods. Variety is super important. It's not the same broccoli. It's not the same nut every single day. We need to add in variety. Consuming 9 to 13 servings of fruits and vegetables every day. Variety is key. Just flood your body with that good nutrition is key. You talked about the healthy fats, which is super important because they're so beneficial when it comes to anti-inflammatory effects on the body, but also getting in some of those delicious spices. You talked about garlic and onions, but turmeric is a very powerful anti-inflammatory. Making sure that you're getting like some cinnamon and oregano and some different spices in your diet, really helpful. Fermented foods, you talked a little bit about the gut barrier, Allie, which was great, but those fermented foods are going to support the gut microbiome, which is really helpful. And then just making sure that you're keeping up with the other lifestyle behaviors, things like sleep and exercise. And I know you wanted to talk for a second about exercise, Allie, as well.
Yes, definitely. You hear that phrase, use it or lose it. There's never been a more important time to be saying that mantra every single day. Regular exercise can actually prevent the acute respiratory syndrome, which stops the lungs from being able to function properly. And that came out in a study just recently. So exercise actually boosts a substance called extracellular superoxide dismutase. Say that 3 times fast. Which is a powerful antioxidant that reduces viral load and actually prevents this acute respiratory response. Mm-hmm. And then we also talked about glutathione a little bit before. Our body starts producing it 1 to 2 hours after exercise. So even doing something like for 20 or 30 minutes a day is going to help your body boost that antioxidant production.
Perfect.
And then finally, when we think about our immune system, we can't forget about our lymph system, which helps bring white blood cells to the parts of the body that need it, and also helps remove damaged cells. And we don't have a pump for our lymph system like we have our heart for our circulatory system. So we need that exercise to be able to help move that lymph through the system and get it where it needs to go.
That's perfect. I always like to think about exercise as getting all the good stuff where it needs to go quicker, right? Because you're just through the sheer force of activity, you're doing so many good things for your whole body. Mm-hmm. So, Allie, thank you so much for all the amazing tips. I really appreciate it. For those of you out there, if you'd like to get in touch with Allie, she's at alliewellness.com. I'm going to put her contact info on the YouTube channel. If you like this YouTube video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'd really appreciate it. You'll be notified of upcoming videos that are coming out. I wish you all a wonderful day. Be safe, be well, and thank you, Allie, so much for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Take care.